Can this replace your Islamic savings account? Islamic savings account have been a staple of a Muslim's portfolio, I believe, for many, many years. They are low risk, they provide a stable rate of return, and there isn't really much alternative until now. One of the main things that people might think of instead of an Islamic savings account is a Sukuk fund, because a Sukuk fund is quite low risk. It provides a somewhat similar level of return. However, it does have that additional volatility in it. Because of that additional volatility, some Sukuk funds can move around and could be down 5, 6, 7% in a single year. So it doesn't really make sense to have a Sukuk fund to directly replace an Islamic savings account. However, if you want to take on more risk for potentially more upside, then perhaps a Sukuk fund does make sense. Now, in terms of Sukuk funds, there are a number to choose from. But in this video, what we're going to be looking at is one specific Sukuk fund, which has something a bit different about it that arguably makes it a suitable alternative for an Islamic savings account and perhaps even better than an Islamic savings account. So let's get into it. The problem with Sukuk funds, the majority of them, is that they are based in dollars. They invest in dollar-based assets. Even if the Sukuk fund is priced in sterling, you're still exposed to that currency risk. That means that you can have big fluctuations in Sukuk fund price and big fluctuations in your investment, not because of the performance of the Sukuk, but actually because of the foreign exchange movements. And when you're investing into a Sukuk fund, generally you're doing it because you want a lower risk investment. Maybe these fluctuations in foreign exchange rates doesn't matter when you're investing for a decent period of time, maybe 5 years or longer. But if you are seriously investing in Sukuk because you want something quite safe, you're investing in it for quite a short time period, then those Sukuk funds don't really make sense. The single option when it comes to a hedged Sukuk fund is a Franklin Sukuk fund. The bad thing about it is that even with that Sukuk fund, you can have significant movements in Sukuk prices due to things like credit quality and due to things like interest rate moves. Also, the thing with that Sukuk fund is quite expensive because it charges 0.9%, whereas the other Sukuk funds, they charge 0.4%. Now, this is the big news. This is the big new thing on the scene. The Franklin short-dated, ultra-short duration fund is what they call it. Ultra-short duration just means that the prices of the Sukuk within this Sukuk fund is not really affected by interest rates, because duration is a measure of how sensitive a Sukuk's price is to changes in interest rates. Generally, to get a very low duration Sukuk or a very low duration bond, you buy a Sukuk with a very short period from now until it matures. So you should be thinking 1 year, 2 years, 3 years maximum. The reason it works is it all comes down to how Sukuk and bond prices move in relation to interest rates. Let's have an example. Let's take an example of a 10-year Sukuk. If that Sukuk is returning 4% and interest rates were to rise by 1% from perhaps 4% to 5%, then the holder of the Sukuk would have to compensate the buyer of the Sukuk. If they were selling it, they would have to compensate them for that 1% they are missing out on every single year. So the Sukuk price would have to move down by, roughly speaking, back of an envelope calculation here, but 10%, it's 1% for every single year. Because the Sukuk, generally speaking, will have a fixed coupon, a fixed amount that it pays out each year, and to compensate the buyer for the fact that they could get 5% elsewhere, you have to sell it at a 10% discount. So that is generally why longer dated Sukuk or longer dated bonds are more sensitive to interest rates. So this ultra short duration fund, what's lovely about it is that even as interest rates move, because you only have 1 or 2 years Sukuk, if interest rates were to move by 1%, and you had to compensate the new buyer of the Sukuk by 1%, the Sukuk in the fund might only move down by 1%. Now, it's not an exact math, this is just a rough approximation, but you're getting the idea, hopefully. I've pulled up the Franklin Global Ultra Short Duration Fund, and at the moment, you can't buy this on many platforms, but maybe it's going to start to come out. I have seen it on a few platforms at the moment, but I'm not sure if it's available directly for retail investors, but I'm pretty sure it will be in the near future. To get an idea of the type of returns you can expect on this ultra short duration fund, you can look at the benchmark, which is US 3-month Treasury bills, and you can see how they performed each year. You can see before interest rates were quite high, the level of returns were almost nothing. But now that interest rates have moved up, you're getting around 3, 5, 4%. So it's not bad. especially when you consider you can sell your Sukuk fund at any time. So it's a bit similar to an easy access account. All you really have to worry about is how much can it go down and how much fees they're charging. Now, specifically right here, what we are looking at, we're actually looking at the dollar version. As you can see here, it says accumulation USD, but if we just click on the share classes, you will see there's one in sterling. So if we click on the sterling one, it loads up. It's all the same, but it's in sterling. So instead of paying in dollars, you're paying in sterling. However, the underlying investments are still in dollars. Because of that, the rate of return that you receive is not only dependent on the performance of the Sukuk, but the performance of the US sterling exchange rate. So if we scroll down to see how the benchmark has performed, you see the returns are all over the place. We have periods where the return was negative 10%, other periods where the return was 13.8%. These big moves are because of the sterling dollar exchange rate movements. And this is not really what you want with an ultra short duration fund or an Islamic savings account. You don't want big swings of 10% in a year. The big negative years will be years when the sterling appreciated against the dollar, and the big positive years will be the years when the sterling depreciated against the dollar. Great. So this doesn't solve the problem that we want. However, there is another fund class. If we look here and we click down again, we can see that there is a H1 fund class. The H1 fund classes for Franklin Templeton are the hedged versions of that fund. So they hedge out that currency risk. So now we are still in sterling, which is great. And we can scroll down and see the performance of those 3 months Treasury bills based on the hedged class are the same now or very similar to what we looked at previously when we just looked at the dollar version. So that's taken away all that risk. So now it looks like we can be getting around 5.5%, 4.5%, 4%, very similar rates to Islamic savings accounts, and on occasion, better rates than Islamic savings accounts. Generally, short-dated Sukuk are quite secure, they're quite safe. The kind of names they invest into, we can click on the portfolio. We can see that they have a large amount of Sukuk from Saudi Arabia, some Sukuk from Indonesia, some more from Saudi Arabia, not sure who this is. Emaar, the Gulf-based property builder, Dubai Islamic Bank, First Abu Dhabi Bank. And we can see the average credit quality is A-, which is quite high. That is investment grade, quite safe, quite secure. Lovely thing is, because you're investing into a fund of Sukuk, even if one of them didn't perform very well, you're invested in quite a few, so it shouldn't matter too much. Because there aren't that many Sukuk in issuance, to find a Sukuk that not only exists, but is very short dated as well, can be quite difficult, which is why when we look at the total number of holdings in the Sukuk fund, it's actually quite small. It's 20, still better than one, so you are diversified with a few different Sukuk, but it's not massive like some of the other Sukuk funds that hold far more than that. Also, it's still a small fund at $5 million, but that's just because it just started. So how does a Sukuk fund like this, an ultra short duration fund, an ultra short duration Sukuk fund compare to an Islamic savings account? It does have more risk than an Islamic savings account. However, Islamic savings accounts are only protected up to 120K. If I had a few £1,000,000, I would feel more confident, personally speaking, investing it into an ultra short duration Sukuk fund than an Islamic savings account in the UK. Because the Islamic savings account is only protected to a certain amount. Very often they have limits about how much you can put into them. And after that certain amount that you're protected for by the government, after that you're just really running the risk of the bank defaulting. So I quite like that. Also sometimes the availability of easy access Islamic savings accounts isn't a lot. There may be no easy access ISAs. Sometimes easy access accounts don't exist at all. So this is a great alternative. In addition to that, you can potentially hold this within an ISA. Now, we have to check out the rules with the new cash ISA and the new stocks and shares ISA about how they're going to treat these ultra short duration funds. Can you hold £20,000 of it in your ISA? Is that still okay, or does it count as cash? So we still have to investigate that. But I think if you hold a portion of your stocks and shares ISA in not this, maybe even 1%, it's okay to hold this in your stocks and shares ISA, but we'll see the rules when they come out. Another thing is that these easy access Islamic savings accounts, they may not cater for corporates, whereas a corporate can open a dealing account and then they can invest into this fund. Outside of the ISA, in terms of tax and your allowances, it's going to be the same because the income from this fund is going to count as interest. Even though it is accumulation and doesn't pay out that income, there is an amount of income that has been paid. It's just been reinvested, and that's the income that you have to declare on your tax return. And it does get a little bit complicated, which is why it's so much more straightforward just to hold it in your stocks and shares ISA if you have room for something like this. But in reality, I quite like this. The return on very short-dated Sukuk isn't very high, but you can get an idea of what the return should be on this Sukuk fund by looking at the yield to maturity. Obviously, it's not going to be exactly that yield to maturity, but the yield to maturity is 4.45%. And if you take away the fees of around 0.25%, you can expect to receive just above 4%. And as far as I'm aware, at the moment, there isn't an Islamic easy access savings account which is earning 4%. But remember, this fund does come with some risk. That risk is it may move down in price, especially if interest rates start to creep up. The duration measure will generally tell you roughly how much this Sukuk fund will move down for every 1% rise in interest rates. So if we have a 1% rise in interest rates in the US, this fund might move down by around 0.88%. This fund is not an ETF, so you're not going to find it on platforms like Trading212, but you might find it on platforms like Hargreaves Lansdown and AJ Bell. Just make sure if you are going to buy it, you're buying the hedged version if you're in the UK. If you're not in the UK and you're in the US, dollar version is fine. I don't know who'd buy the sterling version in the UK that isn't hedged unless you wanted that dollar exposure for any old reason. But I think I'm going to give it a go to try and replace at least part of my Islamic savings account allocation with this Sukuk fund, just to compare the performance, just to see which one is going to be better. But you have to understand there is a bit of risk in this, even though it's a tiny, tiny amount of risk. I think if we pull up the documents, we might be able to see what risk rating they give this fund themselves. Or is it too new that it doesn't even say anything? It doesn't say anything here. Here we go, key information document. It's risk 1 out of 7, the lowest risk level that you can get. And they even show in a stress scenario, they predict an average return of negative 0.7% per year. Generally speaking, ultra short dated Sukuk, ultra short dated bonds, they're very, very safe, especially if it's rated A. This fund has an average rating of A. So for me, worth a go. Is it worth it for you?